Oke, selamat pagi, siang, sore, dan malam di mana sahabat PPI Dunia dan PPI TV dimanapun berada. Pada kali ini, Pusat Kajian Gerakan PPI Dunia, tepatnya Komisi Sosial Budaya, akan menghadirkan web seminar yang pertama, gitu, yang nantinya akan membahas topik tentang jaminan kesehatan nasional. Nah, untuk membuka webinar pertama kali dari Komisi Sosial Budaya ini, kita akan menyimak sekilas penjelasan tentang apa sih Komisi Sosial Budaya PPI Dunia dan apa saja yang akan dan sedang mereka kerjakan di periode kepengurusan kali ini. Langsung saja saya serahkan kepada Ketua Komisi Sosial Budaya, Thabrany. Ya, dipersilakan.
Thank you, Ram. Halo semua, selamat datang di webinar Komisi Sosial dan Budaya PPI Dunia kali ini. Nama saya Thabrany Gabriela Kalele sebagai Ketua Komisi Sosial dan Budaya, atau yang sering kita sebut juga sebagai Komisi Sosbud. Saat ini saya sedang menempuh pendidikan S2 di New York University dengan fokus International Development and Humanitarian Assistance. Pertama-tama saya ingin ucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya untuk Profesor Hasbullah Thabrany nih, pembicara kita kali ini yang sudah menyempatkan waktunya dan sudah bersedia untuk berbagi ilmu dan informasi serta diskusi dengan PPI Dunia. Juga tim Sosbud, ada Fery sebagai moderator, Saras dan Sylvie juga bantu persiapan webinar, dan Mas Rama juga yang sebagai wakil ketua Pusat Kajian dan Gerakan yang sangat membantu di bagian teknis kali ini. Sebelumnya saya ingin sedikit memperkenalkan mengenai Komisi Sosbud. Kami memiliki dua divisi, yaitu divisi program dan divisi kajian. Nah, divisi program ini dikepalai oleh Hillary Bakri dari NYU atau New York University, dan divisi kajian diketuai oleh Wawan Cerdikwan dari ANU di Australia. Divisi program sendiri memiliki beberapa proyek, yang diantaranya ada pengembangan komunitas di Labuan Bajo. Di situ kita membuat semacam mentorship dan workshop untuk para wanita dan anak muda di sana untuk entrepreneurship. Kita juga ada program Be Indonesian for a Day dan What Brings You Back Home, di mana kita di What Brings You Back Home kita mewawancarai beberapa alumni-alumni universitas luar yang pulang kembali ke Indonesia, dan kita pengen tahu kenapa sih mereka balik ke Indonesia dan apa potensi Indonesia yang mereka lihat. Di Be Indonesian for a Day kita mengajak teman-teman kita di non-Indonesian di luar untuk cicipin makanan Indonesia dan berinteraksi sama budaya-budaya di Indonesia. Lalu kita juga masih ada Mission Indonesia, di mana kita mengajak beberapa universitas luar untuk mengadakan semacam research project atau kelas yang untuk datang ke Indonesia dan mengadakan field research di Indonesia. Sayangnya kita nggak bisa bahas satu-satu untuk programnya dan nggak bisa detail. Jika ingin tahu informasinya lebih lanjut, bisa follow sosial media kita. Kita ada Instagram, Twitter, atau Facebook. Di Instagram kita ada @PPI Dunia. Nah, webinar kali ini itu sebagai rangkaian dari proyek penulisan white paper kita di divisi kajian. Kita ada, untuk next webinarnya, kita akan ada sekitar bulan Maret atau April mengenai konflik sosial. Di webinar kali ini kita akan membicarakan kurang lebih mengenai implementasi dan tantangan yang dihadapi oleh JKN atau Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional. Oke, kalau begitu boleh saya langsung berikan lagi ke Mas Rama untuk memperkenalkan Mas Fery. Silakan Mas. Thank you.
Terima kasih Thabrany.
Ya, terima kasih Thabrany. Ya, itu tadi sekilas tentang Komisi Sosial Budaya dan apa saja yang mereka sedang dan akan lakukan di periode kepengurusan kali ini. Langsung saja untuk webinar kali ini tentang refleksi budaya dan apa saja tentang refleksi jaminan kesehatan nasional akan dimoderatori oleh Mas Fery Ferdiansyah, mahasiswa S2 Master of Public Policy di Australian National University dan juga merupakan anggota Komisi Sosial Budaya. Silakan pada Mas Fery untuk memoderatori webinar kali ini.
Baik, selamat pagi, selamat siang waktu Australia. Saya juga ingin menyapa teman-teman di seluruh dunia sebelumnya. Oke, selamat pagi waktu Europe. Now it's 4 a.m. in Europe, and then 2 p.m. in Australia, and then 10 a.m. in Jakarta, 10 p.m. in New York in United States, 6 a.m. in Moscow, and the last is 12 p.m. in Brazil. So I would like to thank you for all of you guys to join this event. We will deliver this online seminar in English and Bahasa. The first, I would like to say thank you very much for Professor Hasbullah as our speaker.
You're welcome.
And then, Thabrany as the Chief of Social Culture Committee. And another member of Social Culture Committee is Sarah, Silvi, and then Rama as the producer of this event. Okay. Again, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ferdiansyah, and I'm the student of Crawford School, Australian National University, and I will be serving you as your moderator. And our speaker today is, as you know, the very famous Professor Hasbullah Thabrany is the chairman of Center for Health Economics and Policy Studies, University of Indonesia, and senior health financing advisor to the National Social Security Council, DJSN, Dewan Jaminan Sosial Nasional. There will be 3 sessions in this online conference. The first is, we already heard the greeting from Thabrany and the others. And then the second session is presentation and dialogue, discussion. And the last is the conclusion. Now, moving to our next session, please welcome Professor Hasbullah Thabrany to deliver his presentation. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you, Mas Fery. Should I speak in English atau bahasa Indonesia ini? Biar samanya.
Yeah, you can use English or Indonesia, Prof.
Okay. Yeah, I maybe just interrupt me or something else if you don't really get what I'm mentioning. I wrote this in English, so I speak also in English. Probably better if you post this presentation or video that other citizens from other countries can also learn and listen of the what we call it now a big achievement of Indonesian healthcare reform. Thank you for all for your organizing this World Seminar. Congratulations for PPI to undertake this important seminar. Let's start with the first slide. I give this title Health Financing Option and Universal Health Coverage in Indonesia because I want to explain several financing options and why we choose the JKN Indonesian word or currently it's popular with the universal health coverage. Next slide, Ferry. The next slide is this is the outline that I would like to give you this overview because I believe many of those who are listening might have different background, might not be easy to speak technical healthcare, so and might not be understand what's going on in the world. So I give this outline, a problem financing, mechanism on financing, priority reform, and then come with the Indonesian. In the past, we call it national health insurance. Indonesian word Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional. Now, the terms most popular with the universal health coverage. Next slide, yeah. this is just some USC tracer indicator. USC universal health coverage actually cover comprehensive services from promotion, prevention, healthcare, up to palliative care. Palliative care is the caring of frail elderly or for those who are disabled because of serious disease. In general, I post this table to show you that Indonesia in the last 5 years still behind many other countries in achieving good universal health coverage. In family planning, we are not making progress after the reform in 1998. Antenatal care is quite good, but the quality, this is the coverage, 96%. Skilled birth attendance, meaning delivery of bersalin by health professional, and then immunization, tobacco control. That's the most difficult part of the Indonesian reform, and sanitation. Just give you some idea where we are in Indonesia compared to other developing countries. Next slide. In terms of financing is measured by how much money we spend for healthcare. It's called total health expenditure, and how much money the total health expenditure provided by the public, the government and the BPJS. Here I compare the GDP per capita in US dollar. This is the 2014 data across low middle income countries, and you can see that Indonesia with 3,500 GDP spend only $99 per capita for health, while Egypt, for example, with less income spends almost double for healthcare. Ukraine, Philippines, and others still higher spending on healthcare. If we look at the last column, where the government or the public spending, the government only spend $37 per capita per year. So that's the lowest among lower middle income countries. And therefore, don't be surprised if we have a lot of stunting people here. Maternal mortality in Indonesia is the highest among developing countries, and productivity of Indonesian people still low because our investment in human resources very weak. So this one need reform. Next. This is another way of looking how financing and indicator of healthcare financing on the vertical line. This is on a logarithmic scale. Indonesia compared to GDP per capita and compared to other countries. So you look at there in that graph, Indonesian below the average line. This is our condition, that we need you to come back and reform this Indonesian system. Next. Overall, in the world, if you pay attention on their healthcare reform, all over the world, they've been reforming healthcare. Even in the US, where Stephanie was studying there, the Trump trying to change the Obamacare and so on, debate a lot of this because healthcare costs continue to rise over time. Why? Because cost of living, so the healthcare professional needs higher income. Certainly, they will charge more for the healthcare services. And people also put high value of healthy living. Even if you are very rich, if you are not healthy, it's not worth to have a lot of money. All right. So where people have higher income, they want to be healthier. They want to enjoy their wealth. Yeah, and also aging population. Overall, over the world, people are getting older. Indonesia life expectancy now around 70 years. Japan already reaching 90 years. So that's very high. And also, there are system or market failure. This is rarely known by many Indonesian. I hope you learn a lot in other countries. Market failure in healthcare is very common in the health economics literature. Normally, the market mechanism create low price and high quality. So that's the market mechanism. You buy something cheaper, better quality. For example, you buy mobile phone now becoming cheaper and cheaper, and quality is very good because of the competition. But in healthcare, there is market failure. The more doctor, the more hospital, the higher the price. That's the problem with healthcare everywhere in the world. Yeah, the more supply, the higher the price, not the lower the price. The financing system also create incentive, disincentive. In the US model, for example, where dominance by public financing, private insurance selling health insurance products, certainly they want to make money. They spend more on the marketing process, and they borrow money. So the capital cost also relatively high. And delivery system, where the system pay doctors and hospital. If doctor hospital pay, like you buy food in restaurant, whatever you order, they deliver, then you create incentive for higher price. That's the problem in healthcare. That's a unique problem. I'll explain later on. And also the use of high technology. Yeah. Although high tax often correlate with the lower price, but in healthcare, higher tax does not correlate with the lower price. And also more other alternatives in healthcare. Next slide. Yeah. Why the healthcare is so complex all over the world? Even Trump said the healthcare is more complex than people thought, because he's thinking that revising the Obamacare very easy. In reality, it's not. Why? Because there are three main unique characteristics of healthcare that you cannot find in other product, in other commodities. First is the high uncertainty of the demand. The demand of our healthcare is derived from the need. The need for healthcare is uncertain, because until now we never know when God planned to give us disease. No schedule of time, place, and cost. So therefore, we never can save money to buy healthcare we need when we need, because we don't know when we need, and we don't know how much money for that one. That's one aspect. And therefore, in terms of ability to pay, often people who don't understand this system saying, let people buy their own. Let them choose what they want to get the healthcare. They can pay. They are not poor. No, that's not the case. No ability to pay, because the healthcare cost in Indonesia can be 2 billion rupiah for certain procedure. Yeah. And there is information asymmetry, huge gap of the knowledge of price, quality between the consumer and the providers or the doctors. In other commodity, you can bargain. In healthcare, no one bargain with the healthcare. No one negotiate with the price of drugs. That's the reality. because of the super information owned by the providers, often patients are forced to pay, not because they are willing to pay. A lot of mothers in Indonesia being undertaking C-section, not because she wanted, but the doctor said, you need that, yeah, and you have to pay. So that's the problem. And the third one is externalities. Externalities meaning you don't do something, you don't consume, but you get the risk or you get the benefit. For example, you don't smoke, but other people smoke and you get risk. So not fair that you pay for the healthcare while you don't do this bad risk. So that's externalities. That's all together are in the healthcare sector. In addition to that, we have also a lot of other issues related to healthcare. Yeah. Next slide. So option for the health financing. So certainly we can provide healthcare system by various various options that often people want to do it with this option. We can do private financing, business model. You sell basically business and people pay out of the pocket. Yes, traditionally this way, but it is not working because of the market failure. Private insurance can do it, but private insurance normally has limit because they don't, for example, cover for the high costs such as transplantation or open heart surgery. We can depend on charity, but charity or donation never sustain and never enough. The second option is public financing. This is the most common financing for the healthcare. Public financing can come from tax-funded system, tax-funded by the government. There's always monopolistic by the government. The second public financing is called social health insurance. It is health insurance, but the membership is mandatory. We call it Sosial. It is first developed in the US, in the German model. But all over the world, all countries, developed countries already implement.
So I think we have.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Professor.
Hello?
I think your connection was not stable. You can continue now.
Excuse me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, so I don't know what's happening. It just.
So I guess the internet connection was not stable. Well, we have talked about just a little bit of a summary of what we have talked about. It's a little bit about the financing of the universal healthcare in Indonesia and how it developed from, we used to call it the national health insurance there are several ways that we can actually fund this universal health coverage. Usually we have like private financing with all the private insurance and businesses. The professor has said about we have to pay it out of pocket traditionally, and how it gets more expensive as the technology more advanced.
Okay, welcome, Prof.
Okay, Professor, right, we have you again.
Okay, it's connected again. I'm sorry, this is signal good. Yeah. Next slide.
Yep.
Well, let me close to the window, making better signal probably. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
It's connected now.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's connected. Prof.
Okay, good. Let's. Yeah, I'll continue. This try to. Unfortunately. Hello.
Yeah. I can hear you, Prof.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Go up. Next slide. Next slide. So the goal of health financing is to ensure equity. That's the main problem in most developing countries like Indonesia. Equity, as I said before, ensuring that everyone get healthcare they need, not related with the not related with the economics. Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Okay, next slide. Okay, the response I mentioning is about the three unique characteristic. The response of the health system is publicly funded. As I mentioned before, the tax funded, non-tax funded, and social insurance model. So that's the common financing model. Next. The first model, which is applied in the UK, is called Bavarian model. Also in Malaysia, Hong Kong, you say people access to the government, and government just providing free healthcare for everyone. So that's the model of the NHS. We don't use this model because the number of people who are paying income tax very small in Indonesia. Maybe next 10, 20 years, we can change to this system. Next. The other model is to mandate people to pay special contribution from which to a body, what we call it, NHI, National Health Insurance. In
So we were talking about sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
More appropriate for us in Indonesia. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, this is the differences of the two models, tax-funded, social insurance, basically almost the same, just few differences. You can read, this is a self-explanation slide. So I just skip that one. Next slide. There is also one unique model. They call it Singaporean mixed model. The unique one is the Singapore model mandate people to save money to purchase healthcare. For moderate and low cost of healthcare, that can be done. But for the high cost of medicine, the Singaporean developed Medishield. It is social insurance, but only for catastrophic healthcare, very high cost. While the Medifund is providing healthcare for the poor free of charge. This is donation model. Next. If we look at the world pie of healthcare system, which is in 2007 already reaching $5 trillion, close to $7 trillion, social insurance contribute to 25%. General government, which is tax, the HNS model, 35%. Private insurance, 18%. And out-of-pocket, 18%. The others, donation, internal charity. So we are moving toward expanding social insurance and combination with general tax. Next. Here's some example of the system model that you can see over time since 1970. The U.S. healthcare system continued to absorb a lot of GDP. Currently, the U.S. already already taking almost 18% of GDP because of the market failure, because the U.S. used market model. While the United Kingdom, which use the NHS or tax-funded, spend much less over almost 50 years period. So we don't follow the US. Also, although many of the Indonesian people try to copy the US model, but all over the world, no country follow the US model. Just to understanding. Next slide. So the hypothetical concept is that we divided the healthcare into two different modes. One for public health promotion and prevention. That should be only tax funded. Government take care of that. For the personal care, which is curative, mostly treatment, examination, and so on, can be funded through social insurance model for those who have income on the box, the blue box on the right. Yeah. So employer and employer contribute, share, but for the low income, it be fully contribution subsidy, government pay, or partial subsidy for the higher income group. We are taking this model where the employees pay contribution, the very poor get subsidy from the government, we call it PBI, and in the middle get partial contribution. Next. This is example of the performance by insurance or finance. The right one, the dominant, which is the US, spend the average hospital cost per day close to $1,200. Now maybe $2,500 per day. But if you look at the life expectancy, not much different from those in country where the hospital costs only about $200 a day. So that's just a few reference for our reform. Next. Okay, coming after the MDG. MDG finished 2015, and we failed to achieve low maternal mortality rate. We entering SDG. In the SDG number 3.8, it is written as the universal health coverage to ensure healthy life of all people. And therefore, this year, it is as UHC year by WHO. The plan is that by 2030, all countries in the world should provide coverage. Should be covered. Next. Next one.
I guess the connection is troublesome again. I'm going to try to just briefly summarize what we have talked about a little bit. We were talking about the...
Hello.
Hello? Okay. So we get it again. Professor?
Hello.
All right. Yes, we get you again.
Yeah. Sorry, I think signal problem. Yeah. So the priority of
All right. So we were talking about the financing model. We actually have several different models from all over the world. We have an NHS model where the government provide free healthcare. This is done in Malaysia and Hong Kong. We have the second one, NHI model in Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, and Indonesia. We have also a mixed model in Singapore. Hello, Professor?
Okay, let's continue. Next slide. Halo ya. Halo.
Yes.
Yes, Prof.
Halo.
Yep, we can hear. Can you hear us? Hello, Prof. Can you hear us?
Halo.
Yep.
Are you listening?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Indonesian choice. Kita mempunyai pilihan JKN yang modelnya sebagai berikut. Next slide.
I guess the internet is really unstable from the professor side. We were also talking about how wrong system are the wrong model or the financing system that is applied can actually increase the healthcare costs. It is happening right now in the United States, where their healthcare costs, as the time comes, it becomes more and more expensive. And Indonesia is currently applying the financing scheme by working status of the people, where the employee and the employer both finance the health insurance, and the government actually pays all the cost that's needed by the people who do not work, or the poor people. We were also talking about the development goals, how Indonesia could not achieve their goals in decreasing maternal mortality rate, and we actually had really high maternal mortality rate, or MMR, in 2012 that we're not able to decrease. Hello, Professor? Hello? Hello?
Check. Hello, Professor. Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that the connection of Professor Thabrany is not really good. It's unstable, and our team are trying to get connected with him again. And I would like to summarize what the professor said before. Is about the option of the Indonesian choice. We choose the National Health Insurance System, the JKN. And as you can see from the slide, that the flow of money and services on the National Health Insurance System in Indonesia. And as we know, after the reform of the we had the reform in 2004, the Social Security System reform, law number 40 year 2004 about the National Social Security System. And we know that previously BPJS Kesehatan, Social Security Administering Body on Health, BPJS Kesehatan is previously is a PT Askes, and transform become BPJS Kesehatan, and then the PT Jamsostek transform to become BPJS Ketenagakerjaan. As you can see from the picture, that BPJS, Social Security Administering Body on Health, BPJS Kesehatan, is the single payer as a social security agency, and the provider it's the provider of the health. It can be from public hospital, private hospital, and private GP or clinics and public health center. Hello, Prof. Are you there? Check, Prof. Hey, Prof.
can we in the last
maybe it will be better if you deactivate the camera so the connection will be better, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Hello?
Oh. Check.
Hello?
Okay, maybe.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, Prof. Can you hear me, Prof? Yeah, I can hear you, Prof. Please continue.
Halo, Mas Fery?
Yes.
Bisa dengar?
Halo?
Halo?
Ya.
Yes, kita bisa dengar.
Can you hear us, Prof? Okay. Should we continue to the next slide? Okay. This national health insurance system has optimum level of sharing across national and ensure portability. And it's easy to understand for everyone. And as we hear from the explanation from the professor, is ensure the social justice and equity across regions. But as we know, Indonesia is an archipelago countries, so many islands, so distribution of facilities play an important role. Ability to control costs, we have to really strict about this, and prospective payment of capitation. As we know, the financing system for the first primary health provider is capitation. And then in the referral system level is, hello, Prof.
Okay.
Prof, okay, please.
Is it connected again?
Yeah,
Hello?
It's connected.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Connected
yes,
again?
Yeah, it is connected.
Okay.
Okay, go on, Prof.
I don't know what's okay. So you're already posting and some people read already?
Yes.
Okay. Should I continue to what level? I think you can read and then continue that. So, or we can just go to the discussion if you want. Okay. So we designed this system with the national insurance to optimum level because all over Indonesia can have the similar system that easy to understand for everyone. Ensure portability, meaning you get the healthcare wherever you are. You are traveling to Bali, Bandung, Medan, and you got severe cases, you can get healthcare there. And ensure social justice also, because we pay for the poor so they can get access without paying. And those who have income pay their salary of them. There is no people who cannot afford payment by capital special so we control the price of drug very cheap now. Yeah, this is the most efficient system that proven in Taiwan, in Korea, in Philippines, and also in some other European countries. Next. Next. Hello?
Yeah, Prof. We can hear
Hello?
you. Yes, we can hear you.
Mute the video.
Yeah, I think you should mute the videos.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. We can hear. Hello, Prof. Prof. Okay, we are waiting for Professor Hasbullah. I will read the presentation of Prof. Hasbullah, and the next slide is about the source of funds for the JKN, the National Health Insurance in Indonesia. The main fund comes from mandatory contribution of, as we know, 5% wages with the selling of 8 million rupiah per month. And then the second source of fund is non-wage earners can choose one of the three options. So people can choose how much they want to pay of the contribution of national health insurance. If they want to get the third class, they have to pay 25,500 rupiahs. For the second class is 50,000 rupiahs, and for the first class is 80,000 rupiahs. About 118 million poorest Indonesia got subsidized from the national government. It's around 92.9 million, and the local government. Hello, Prof. Hello. Hello, Prof. Okay.
Halo, Prof.
Hello? Yes, continue.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can continue, Prof.
Yeah.
Maybe next slide, man.
For us in
Yes, Prof. You can continue.
Yes, I don't know this is unfortunately signal. But okay, let's continue. Let's continue next slide.
Yeah, please.
Hello?
Yeah, Prof, we can hear you. Please.
Let's continue next slide.
Yeah.
You hear me? Yeah, next slide. Yeah, source of before. Okay, so before. Okay, already.
Hello, Prof. Okay, maybe while we are waiting for the professor, I will read fast the rest of the PowerPoint. Next, okay. Some drawbacks. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Wow.
Hello, Prof. Okay, some drawbacks of the national health insurance system. Mostly high-income people are not happy, normally at the beginning. And then hello, Prof.
Yeah.
There is
Okay.
a maldistribution of health. Yeah, Prof. We can hear you. Yeah.
Facilities. Okay.
Yeah.
Facility, for example, in eastern part of Indonesia, there is no specialist on cancer, no specialist on open heart surgery yet. So that's the problem to achieve everything. And the next one is to politics. The currently government set contribution thinking of the political consideration rather than technical academic adequacy. Because the government afraid of political reaction from the opposition party and from the people. So that's not appropriate actually because deficit. Yeah, doctor and professional not happy because they get very low paid, right? Still okay? Next slide.
Yeah. Next slide.
Yeah. So this is just snapshot achievement. Currently, 190 million people already registered at the BPJS. This is the largest insurance in the world, yeah, because we have 250 million people. Government currently get a big credit because if you look at the polling, more than 70% of the Jokowi healthcare system. So that's a good for the government, but if you survey to doctors, midwives, and nurses, they are still unhappy. Equity as the main goal already improved. We already assess the equity achievement. Most people get access. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'll get this the answer later on of this one. Just slide. Okay, economic impact. We stimulation. People already interested to invest more, although at this time the price still not good enough. But investor looking for the long term. The system already established. Only payment system are currently not good enough. Next slide. I think this is almost the end. Okay. So this is the some improvement complicated. You can read it later on. One of my doctoral student assessed the difference from 2007 to 2014 after the JKN, access to inpatient hospitalization increase bigger in the lower income group. Next slide. Next slide, Ms. Fery.
Yeah. Hello, Prof. Okay.
Yes.
The next
hello.
slide is
This is not equity concentration curve, showing that the red one is the before JKN, the blue one is after the JKN. So if the cross line is the equity line, meaning now closer for inpatient care after the JKN. Next slide.
Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide.
I think this, yeah, I think signal not good because I'm in the high or maybe, yeah, many critics. I think I saw the questions about the opposition. Certainly, there are opposition or criticism of this. That's normal for the democratic countries. Next. This is the objective indicator showing that JKN cover about 70% of. Look at the spending of the BPJS, the National Administration, their share only of the total health expenditure, meaning there is a big gap between the population coverage and the money. That's indication that the system not optimum. The out of pocket still high. Yeah. Ideally the contribution should be % of the total health and out of pocket below 20%. At this time, our out of pocket 47%.
Hello, Prof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue. Next slide.
Next slide.
Oh, very slow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a few. Next
the
slide,
cost
Prof.
distribution, the currently JKN spend too much for the hospital. Yeah. Less to the lower level care for capitation. Capitation only 17%. Next. Disappear. Okay.
Okay. Next slide.
Next one. Yeah, this is the last slide showing that this is to I did that to answer concern that after universal health coverage, some people afraid of countries cannot afford and going bankrupt. If we look at the experience from all after universal health coverage, no countries experience before. All countries experiencing a higher GDP per capita after universal health coverage. So we don't have to worry about that. In fact, the other way it's happening. Next slide.
Slide.
Okay, I think that's it. I showed this Borobudur temple to show you that Borobudur temple was built for a long time and took a lot of effort, but it lasts long. So our JKN also has been built for a long time, a lot of debates, a lot of fight, but we expect also. I think that's my. Unfortunately, the signal not good. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for Professor Thabrany for delivering this interesting topic about the national health insurance system in Indonesia, about Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional. Okay. Is there any question from the PPI Dunia. Okay, from Thabrany from United States, please.
Hi, Professor. Thank you very much.
Yes, Thabrany. Welcome. I turn off the video easier. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Prof.
Go ahead.
So I am very interested in the universal healthcare, mostly because I'm planning to write a little bit about the JKN in my thesis. One of my concern is always, so my background is in, but my focus is in gender. And we were talking about how Indonesia failed in the last MDG to decrease the number of maternal mortality rate, or the MMR. And I think, and you were talking about the antenatal care and how it is very hard for like.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes, and not many women informed about the minimum 4 visits for antenatal care and everything. And despite all the things that the government has done to increase this number, I remember in 2012 that the number of MMR in Indonesia increased instead of decreased. So what do you think the universal healthcare can do in terms of decreasing this MMR number?
Hi, Prof.
Okay. I didn't get it completely, but I get the questions about MMR and access to antenatal care. Yes, Stephanie, financial protection or making access by removing barrier from financial, not enough. We need other intervention such as education, changing behavior of the mothers, and also providing transportation. In many remote area, the mother could not get to a healthcare facility, although they are covered, they are free, because they don't have transportation. Some of them also did not want to go to a healthcare facility because of the culture. So we still need other intervention other than the JKN. For mothers in the big city, that's relatively easier. They can get access. But we have about 50%, 50% of our pregnant mothers live in rural areas. Okay. Hopefully that answers question. You can write email later on. I can reply that.
Sure. Thank you very much, Professor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor and Thabrany. Okay. Before I go to the next question from PPI Dunia member, and there is a question, Prof, from Eduardo in United States.
Yeah.
Dear Professor Thabrany, I have a question. Are there strong opponents to the national health insurance model that have an interest in privatizing the system? This appears to be a global trend in many countries under neoliberal capitalism.
Yes. Since the beginning, we passed the law in 1994. There was a fight for that privatization and fight for decentralization of the system. They went to Constitutional Court or Mahkamah Konstitusi to review the law. Fortunately, the Constitutional Court make decision that this national system is in line with the Constitution. While decentralized or privatizing is against our Constitution. This is what we have a strong legal regulation. But we provide the private sector with the supplemental insurance. They can do on top up of our national insurance. We now providing what we call it coordination of benefit with them. Boleh bahasa Indonesia boleh.
Okay, that's all, Prof. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's the answer for Eduardo from the United States. And the next question is Sylvie from Thailand. Please, Sylvie.
So, Sawadika, good morning, Professor.
Sawadika, yeah.
Actually, I would like to ask about there is an obstacle, many problems for the implementation of health insurance program. Seperti contohnya defisit keuangan, mengenai kualitas pelayanan kepada pasien BPJS.
Yeah.
Bahkan dalam beberapa kasus berujung pada penelantaran dan ya seperti itu. Bagaimana tanggapan Profesor mengenai hal ini? Apakah bisa dikatakan negara gagal dalam mengawal program JKN?
Ya, oke, ya betul sekali itu. Ya betul sekali. Memang banyak sekali kasus-kasus pasien terlantarkan, pasien ditolak, or sorry in English maybe. There have been a lot of cases reported that patient being rejected, and the patient said, "I have I can pay out of pocket." Then the facility is open and so on. That because some private hospital thinking the reimbursement, the payment to a hospital inadequate, so they don't want to take too many patients. On the other hand, there are still potential patients who can pay out of their pocket to hospital, so they are prioritizing. But if we look at the trend since 2014 to now, since the number of people without insurance, who without non-member of DKN, becoming smaller, more private hospital accepting the condition and trying to manage that one. There's still a lot of cases that not fit enough. The main problem is the revenue is inadequate. The government set too low price, too low contribution. Whether this fail, I can say if you take an examination, you of the 100% question, you answer 80, you still pass the exam. But 20 is still not good. Currently, I would say more than 20% still not meeting our goal. Maybe I would say now we achieve about 70% over time. But it passed. Not gagal, tapi belum cukup bagus. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. And the next question will come from Auckland, from the New Zealand. Please, Saras.
Hello. Thank you for the interesting discussion. Hello. Yes, I have a question about the drug and medicine system. I heard that one of the problem in JKN is about the medicine, that people don't have the access to all kinds of medicine that they need. Therefore, the medicine doesn't cover all kinds of illness that the people might suffer from. So my question is how the drug and medicine is being financed and distributed to people, and how government effort to get to provide all kinds of medicine that needed by the people. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, thank you. The way we do is we pay the doctors, the clinic, the hospital on bulk payment. We call it in Indonesia bayar borongan. Capitation including medicine, CBG per cases including medicine. Say for example, you are suffering from typhoid fever. The hospital is paid, say for example, 2 million rupiah, including medicine. It is up to hospital to find good medicine. So we don't distribute from national to lower level. we pay the hospital, including medicine, so up to hospital. However, yes, this is the drawback. Many hospitals trying to get higher profit. So with the 2 million for typhoid, they want to save. And they say, well, the drug's not available or the drugs might not be covered. It is actually up to them. The idea is that doctors know what the drug needed, and when they give the budget, they should find drug that is affordable by them. But in reality, people quite smart and patient, as I said, information asymmetric, quite don't understand what is needed. And when the doctor said, oh, this is not covered, they accept, they buy out of pocket. So that's the problem of the understanding and control. I think the main problem for us now is the controlling providers to be honest, to serve the patient where they already paid, but they don't deliver the drugs because they want to make money. So that's not the system-wise, but rather cases of individual. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. And the next question is from me, Professor. I have 2 questions. I'm sorry, as a moderator, I also want to ask you. The first question is, previous month ago, I heard that many doctors complains that they work very hard because of the JKN system. What do you think about this? Even they don't sleep in the hospital and etc. And the second question is, do you believe that we can achieve universal health coverage in 2019 as roadmap of national health insurance?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, certainly in many big cities, public hospital having much more patient compared to before, because now they have no financial barrier in the big city. They coming to hospital. Certainly volume of care increase and the doctors work harder. They get higher income, but they claim not good enough for the higher volume of work. That's true. Yeah. This is what we are trying to normalize by producing more specialists. We have a very severe shortage of specialists, and therefore for some specialty cases, the doctors work too hard because we are having shortage of specialists. We trying to do that. The Ministry of Health now providing fellowship for doctor, general practitioner to be specialists to meet the demand. However, it will take 4 or 5 years to produce a specialist. So we still need some time. According to the achievement, no, we cannot achieve the goal of 2019, 100% of population. But 90% of the population probably achievable. So in this one, yes, we can.
Hello, Prof. Can you hear me, Prof? Hello, Prof.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, Stephanie, please.
Yes. I'm sorry. I have actually a lot of questions. This topic is just very interesting. So we agree that the universal healthcare coverage is almost mandatory for a higher GDP, for a better productivity of the population. In general, if we want to be a better nation, we need the universal healthcare coverage to succeed. Yet, I've read several papers about this where it says that one of the biggest component, one of the biggest reason, and one of the biggest thing that we have to focus on if we want our JKN to succeed is the financing scheme, because it's one of the biggest problem in the JKN, or like in the universal healthcare coverage in a lot of countries. And if we can tackle that problem, the financing problem, we can definitely achieve a successful UHC, or a universal healthcare coverage. What do you think we could, like the government in general, could do or should do, despite all the like political tensions, despite all the bad media publicity that tries to bring down this program? What should we do in terms of financing? Professor?
Hello, Prof. Can you hear us, Prof? It seems. Prof? Okay, we are waiting for Professor Thabrany. Check it.
I think, can I say something? I think it's very interesting to talk about the financing scheme of the universal healthcare coverage, because again, I see one documents of one of like the international institutions say that we really need to take care of how we can have a sustainable financing scheme for our universal healthcare coverage to make sure that our program run sustainably. And I think we from the Social and Culture Committee here in the PPI Dunia, we are about to write our white paper about this, and we were thinking about syntax. Maybe Fery can talk more about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie. While we are waiting Professor connection, I will try do my best to explain about the financing scheme. As we know that Indonesia Social Security Administering Body on Health, BPJS Kesehatan, suffered projected to suffer, for example, we don't talk about 2018, we talk about 2017. BPJS Kesehatan suffered 9 trillion deficit because of the mismatch between the revenue and the spending. As we know, the revenue from the revenue of BPJS Kesehatan is from the contribution of the member, the premium of the member. So there are two kind of member. The first member is the poor people. The government subsidize the contribution for poor people, and the government pay to BPJS Kesehatan. And then the second kind of membership is the non-PBI. I mean the non-poor people. They have to pay, as already shown by Professor Thabrany slide. There are three level of the premium. The first is, if you want to get the third class, you have to pay around 25,000 rupiahs. And then the second class is 50,000 rupiahs, and the first class is 80,000 rupiahs. Okay, and that's all the contribution from the member. But still, the spending of the BPJS Kesehatan is much more higher than the revenue. So there is a deficit there. And as as we know that the government has to pay, I mean, the deficit to overcome the deficit, because we cannot let BPJS Kesehatan as a deficit because it's a national institution. And based on that, there is a success story about the financing scheme of national health insurance in the Philippines. For they had syntax. It is called why it's called syntax, because they make the price of the cigarette higher than previous, and then the margin from that they allocate the money to finance the national health insurance system in the Philippines. So I attend the conference about the syntax reform in the about the syntax in the Philippines, and I think it's really good for Indonesia to take the best practices from the Philippines and try to adapt here in Indonesia. Yeah, and as far as I know, now the government of Indonesia is trying to formulate what is the they call it, if I'm not mistaken, I read from the previous one from my friends in Jakarta. They have a policy mix. It's the combination of several policy. For example, how to how to measure the operational cost, the ideal operational cost for BPJS Kesehatan, to make it lowest, so there will be no high deficit, and then fraud mitigation policy, and then strategic purchasing policy, and then of course the improvement of referral system in Indonesia. So that's about the financing scheme for JKN. Okay, it seems that the professor is not connect here. So, Steph, should I read the conclusion? Or?
All right. Yeah, so I think the last part, thank you very much for the fill-in for the professor. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be in touch with the professor. If anyone wants to ask anything, I think please feel free to ask in the comment section. We will try to forward it to the professor. It seems like the connection is a little bit
okay.
Well, we know developing country. So I think if anyone needs to ask something, just put it in the comment box. We'll definitely forward it, right, Fery? I think we can conclude right now.
Okay. Okay, guys, thank you very much for a very good discussion. And the first is, again, because even the professor is not here, I would like to say thank you very much for Professor Hasbullah Thabrany for addressing this national health insurance system topic. This is really interesting topic. And on behalf of Overseas Indonesian Student Association, we would say we will send you a gift. We will send you to your address later on. And thank you for joining us today. But before that, I would read the conclusion. So from the discussion, there are 3 conclusions. I can summarize it. So the first is, it is necessary to engage all parties in addressing this issue, this JKN issue. So coordination and collaboration is the keywords. And the second conclusion is, policy breakthrough is necessary to improve the health services and reduce deficits. The keywords for this second statement is, policy mix and innovation are very fundamental. And the last conclusion is, a lot of improvement needs to be done, but universal health coverage is most likely to be achieved around 90%, as Professor said, in 2019. The key for this statement is optimism and evaluation. And that's all from me as a moderator. And my close statement is salam perhimpunan, PPI TV dari pelajar untuk pelajar, PPI Dunia, Akselerasi-Inspirasi. Thank you very much for me as a moderator. Please, Rama. Halo?
Ya, oke. Terima kasih Mas Fery atas moderasinya juga teman-teman Komisi Sosial Budaya.
Ya.
Thabrany dan juga Saras. Kita juga mohon maaf ya, ada tadi kesalahan teknis dari Prof. Hasbullah. Cuma materinya sudah bisa disimak di live chat sebenarnya, nanti ditampilkan di kolom deskripsi. Itu aja dari kita, dari Komisi Sosial Budaya PPI Dunia. Jangan lupa untuk subscribe channel YouTube PPI TV untuk nyimak info-info selanjutnya tentang kegiatannya para pelajar Indonesia di luar negeri, di seluruh dunia, dan juga simak di akun media sosialnya PPI Dunia, baik itu di Twitter, Instagram, maupun di Facebook. Itu saja dari saya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much.